Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo estoy muy emocionado porque hoy vamos a estudiar un verbo nuevo. We're going to learn a new verb today, the verb ir, another one of the most important verbs in the Spanish language. So, before we get started, you want to make sure you have a copy of the notes pulled up, our notes on ir that you see here. We're going to go through some slides that are connected to these notes today. So, like I usually say, if you can print these out and have a copy of them with you as you watch the video, that would be great. If not, just go ahead and download them and you can follow along as we go through some slides today. So the verb ir, let's talk about that today because it really is one of the most important verbs that exist in Spanish. So we use the verb ir to talk about where someone is going. And now it is an irregular verb like tener, estar, and ser, which means we have to memorize its conjugations. It's not going to be like that long list of verbs that end in AR that always follow the same pattern. So first off, let's just practice our pronunciation. Try it with me. Ir, ir. All right, and ir means to go. So first off, we have to learn how to conjugate the verb ir. How do we say I go? How do we say you go? Well, let's go through these together. I go, the yo form is voy. You go, vas. He or she goes, va, and you formal go, va. All right, so let's try those. Voy, vas, va, and va. On the plural side, we go, vamos. In Spain, all of you go, vais. Ellos or ellas, they go, van. And then all of you go, van. All right, so try that with me. Vamos, vais, van, van. All right, let's go through it one more time. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. That's how we conjugate ir. That's how we communicate to go. Looking at it in a different way, here's the chart. We see the forms in red. And again, this is how we conjugate the verb ir. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. I go, you go, he or she goes, etc. So now let's come back to a really important idea we learned, 3 equals 1. This same idea still applies to the verb ir. It applies to all verbs in Spanish. So Jorge va a la cafeteria. When we use the verb ir, what we're communicating is Jorge goes, he does go, or he is going. So everything we've learned about how to conjugate verbs and what those verbs mean back in English still applies here. Okay? So a couple of little things here. We use ir with the word a to say that someone is going to a specific location, all right, because a can mean the word to in English. So voy a la biblioteca, I'm going to the library. We want that a there because if we take it out, it would be like saying I'm going the library. So I'm going to the library, voy a la biblioteca. Now there's one exception to that. We learned that de next to the word el combines to form the word del. Well, the same thing happens when a is followed by the word el. They combined to form the contraction al. So if we're going to say, like, for example, the students are going to the gym, what it would be is los estudiantes van a el gimnasio. Well, Spanish says we want to combine those words to al. All right, so van al gimnasio. They're going to the gym. All right. Now, to ask where someone is going, we use the question word a dónde, which we learned earlier in the first set. So, a dónde vas? Where are you going, or where are you going to? All right, so we're going to practice that word today. We'll come back to that in just a second. Let's see, though, first off, if we can use ir to form some complete ideas. So, Juan y yo a la biblioteca. Which form do we need there? Well, hopefully you're saying vamos because that agrees with Juan y yo. Juan and I go to the library, we do go to the library, or we are going to the library. Yo a la oficina. Hopefully you're saying voy. I go, I am going, or I do go to the office. Juan y Maria al gimnasio. Juan y Maria van al gimnasio. They go, they do go, or they are going. Now it should be a el, but we have to combine it to form al. Now let's talk about this word adonde. It was one of our vocab words this week. And again, adonde means to where or where to. We use adonde with the verb ir to ask where someone is going to. Donde, we use this a lot with estar. All right, but adonde we use a lot with the verb ir. So we're going to do some practice with that today. So if you want to ask a question, to ask somebody, hey, where are you going? Adonde vas tú? Okay? Enrique, which form do we need here? Enrique, va. Goes, does go, or is going to the bathroom. All right, let's say how often these people go to these places. So if we want to put a complete thought together, we have yo, a biblioteca, and we want to express sometimes. So how would we express in Spanish, I go to the library sometimes? Well, hopefully you're thinking, voy a la biblioteca a veces. We've got to get that a in there because I'm going to the library. And then a veces we learned in a couple of weeks ago was sometimes. Ellos la cafeteria always. How would I express this in Spanish? Ellos siempre van a la cafeteria because we usually put the word siempre we learned earlier before the verb. So ellos siempre van a la cafeteria. Santiago, el gimnasio, never. Well, Santiago nunca va al gimnasio. We know that nunca always goes before the verb. Santiago agrees with, to conjugate ir and to agree with Santiago, it's va. And then a and el combine to form al. So Santiago nunca va al gimnasio. To la clínica once in a while. Tú vas a la clínica de vez en cuando. ¿A dónde vas mañana? So based off that picture, how would you respond to that question? Where are you going tomorrow? Well, voy al gimnasio. I'm going to the gym. All right. Now, how did I know to answer in the yo form? Well, a dónde vas? That's in the to form. So where are you going? To respond, I've got to say where I'm going. ¿A dónde vas mañana? Voy a la biblioteca. I'm going to the library. ¿A dónde va el señor Piper mañana? So a little bit different of a question, right? Now we're saying, where is señor going tomorrow? So when we answer, we don't want to answer with what I'm doing because the question's asking about señor. So, ¿a dónde va señor? El señor va a la cafeteria because ir, my form of ir, has to agree with my subject. ¿A dónde va Sara mañana? Sara va a la clínica. So since we're asking where is Sarah going, we've got to answer talking about Sara. So why is it va? Because that agrees with Sara. That's my correct conjugation. All right, so we're going to spend some time in this set practicing ir with a dónde and also some of the places we've been learning. Adiós, hasta luego.